Hi everyone, this is Kat of Catalyst Holistic Life Coaching, bringing your life in alignment with you. I'm here today to do your weekly forecast for the week of October 11th through the 17th. It's been a little while, been a little bit busy, so I'm gonna really kind of go over a little bit of the cycles that we're in currently and what seems to be upcoming for this weekly guidance. So don't feel like you missed out on anything. I've been taking a little break, getting ready for new baby to come. I'm actually due on Sunday technically, but we'll see if that actually happens. So I've been taking some time to kind of retreat in and get a little bit into fall and getting into my own rhythm again. So I'm excited to be back here to do your reading. So if this is your first time and you have just found one of these readings, welcome, and thank you for tuning in. This is just a general reading for the collective, so it may or may not resonate with you today. We first just take a look at some tarot and oracle messages, and then we look into the current astrological shifts that are happening in the planet. So wherever you're at, wherever you're tuning in, this is exactly what you're needing at this time. So again, I thank you for joining us. So the decks that wanted to be worked with this week is the Muse Tarot, which I use as kind of my more divine feminine inspiration deck. And then one of my newer decks that I'm really excited to share with you is the Essential Oil Oracle cards. I work as an aromatherapist, so I really love the medicine of essential oils, whether it be for spiritual healing or just working in your home. I really love what I've learned over the last little bit about essential oils and making products. So look forward to as well that some new fall products will hopefully be coming in line soon. So once I have some time to work on that, be sure to keep your eyes open. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we'll start with the tarot. So the first card we have from the tarot is the Five of Emotions, or the Five of Cups. So there is a sense of feeling loss or grief. Something is kind of falling away. She has a little full moon hidden here, and so it's kind of like the ending of a cycle. We're also starting to kind of come into this winter weather, and so there's this sort of iciness to this card as well, where because of this grief, because of this loss, it almost feels like we're frozen in it, like the emotions maybe aren't really flowing, or so you could be maybe really stuck in your grief, or you could also be freezing it out. You could not be really allowing yourself to feel that. So this could be a grief or a loss, whether it's actually a true loss of someone close to you. That could resonate for some of you, or perhaps a loss of a job, or a circumstance or situation that was just not something you were really expecting to lose at this time. And so it is this beginning stage of grief, of loss. So however that's showing up for you, this is just really reminding you to let those emotions flow. Don't let yourself be so shut out or frozen. Don't try to push those feelings away. If it is really grief that you're feeling, just allowing that to fully be released for yourself. As we move into the second card is the Knight of Materials, or the Knight of Pentacles. Because there is some work to be done here. There is something beneficial, something, whether it's in the material realm or just in that sort of comfort, like something you'll be able to see more physically. It may not be something that you can really see clearly right now, but something is coming towards you, some amazing growth, some amazing support. And but the Knight of Materials is one of the more slower moving energies. It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes willpower. And so this is really calling on your own strength to be able to persevere, to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and maybe not take everything so much at face value. There still is life here. There still is growth. Not all hope is lost in this sort of, maybe you feel this sort of barren wasteland, hopelessness sort of feeling, and allow yourself to feel that. Allow yourself to be in that, but also be able to shift your perspective and allow yourself that time to heal as well. This could be a wound, that maybe you will have to work on for a while. This could require some hard work to really move forward and get past. Especially if this is just the beginning stages, or maybe this could be a recurring grief for some of you. But the feeling I get is this is something that has been brought up, especially from this retrograde energy that we've been stuck in for the last few weeks. We had 6 planets retrograde at once. So I feel like this is something that it could be a new situation that's triggering some old wounds, or it could be a situation that maybe you thought you processed but didn't quite, work through all of it. But this feels like new loss. Like this feels like really someone kind of shut down. And this is going to take, our effort and our perseverance to really, push through and not give up on. Because the last card that we have is the 9 of Inspiration, or the 9 of Wands. There's this kind of threshold that's calling to you, that's really staring you in the face and asking you, are you ready to take this next step? Are you ready to cross this threshold? So whatever grief or loss that this is bringing up, there is a sort of bigger picture, a bigger, how do I want to say this? A bigger sort of something like bigger going on in the background that is for your benefit. As much as we don't like to see that, of course, when the situations are happening, but it's meant to make us stronger. It's meant to test that perseverance. And the 9 is this almost like complete energy, but it's that final challenge of like maybe where we're starting to feel weary, where we're starting to feel like we're ready to give up. And this is kind of confronting you, saying, is this really what you want? Do you really want to back off from this and not continue on this journey and just fall back, whether it's into old patterns, or, maybe is this really not the path for you? That's what this loss is kind of bringing up. So instead of looking at it as something that maybe is taking everything away from you, see what's trying to confront you and maybe challenge you to just keep pushing a little more forward. Because that could be the case for some of you. It could be that this is not something worth pursuing, and you are able to kind of see it for the bigger picture. But for what I see mostly with this combined with the Knight of Pentacles is there's already been so much time and effort invested into whatever path this might be. Maybe you've been working really hard on your personal growth. Maybe there is a certain path that you've chosen, and this loss or this grief has just kind of come up in the midst of all of it to really just challenge your drive, your reserves to continue pushing forward. So just asking yourself, it's not necessarily something you have to take action on, because again, this Knight of Pentacles is slow moving energy, but really check in with yourself, see that part of you that's kind of confronting and challenging and saying, there's no going back from this point. You're either ready to cross this threshold or you're not. So don't take it as daunting of like, I have to make this decision now. But that is something that you may be confronted with. All right, so let's get more clarification with the oracle cards. So the first card we have is Siberian Fir, which keyword is acceptance. So for a triggering statement that might be coming up is, we must remember. But a true statement that can help you is, I am free of the habits that do not serve me. Lay down the armor passed down to you from your family. Release habits that are not serving you and forgive on behalf of generations past. And this is also with this green card, this is a good plant for the heart chakra as well. So yeah, especially with this sort of grief card, really finding a place of acceptance, of just allowing those things to be, allowing that grief to come up, is going to be able to project your healing to a much faster degree. And with this grief and seeing the, laying down the armor passed down from your family, some of you may be dealing with family grief, family loss, and that could be maybe what's triggering. There maybe could have been a family member that you didn't realize you had all of these patterns from, or some sort of situation with family that is asking you to, again, not see this as an opportunity lost, but an opportunity gained. And it's also up to you to really heal these wounds. We very often are fighting with our familial ties because we want them to be, on this same healing journey that we are. And sometimes that's just not the case. That we don't get to determine that healing for them. So we can only do so much for ourselves, but by healing ourselves, we will heal them as well. So, don't feel like you're bound to this grief. Don't feel like you're bound to any one path. You can still choose which direction you wish to go. Continuing on with, so this is a blend for DNA repairing, and the keyword is transmutation. So a trigger statement that might be coming up for you is, I don't know who I am, but the true statement is, I am. There is no efforting required for this shift. Be present and allow every aspect of your being to transform. So yeah, just again, that sort of DNA repairing, transmutation, meaning to transmute or change energy by uplifting it. This is also associated with the crown chakra. So yeah, there really is some familial stuff coming up, and I'll get into the astrology with that as well. And with this being the night of materials, like really focused on our material things, which can be our families, our environment, our work, our career. And so we could be making this shift of what sort of family dynamics do we want? Maybe we were in a sort of relationship that we hoped for a certain dynamic, and it's just no longer meeting that framework. Sometimes when we do get into these relationships, we do evolve and change when we choose a certain path for ourselves, and that relationship will either grow with us or it will grow, into something else. And so learning to kind of transmute and allow that healing for yourself, when we start to accept and grow through this grief, we not only get to repair again our own family line, but that of our future generations. So you're doing some deep work here this week that is also, going to be of benefit in just so many different planes of existence. All right, so then moving into the next plant, we have rosemary, which keyword is wisdom. The trigger statement saying it doesn't make any sense, and the true statement, I'm seeing the bigger picture. You are moving towards a deeper level of understanding from knowledge to wisdom. Take time to absorb the lessons. And yeah, again, materials, this is also knowledge, education, how we're taking in this information. And then the 9 of inspiration is also, that wisdom coming in, what we've implemented and learned. So this is really asking you, what do you know? What are you seeking? And this has to do with the third eye chakra as well. So this is really kind of a third eye opening. And is just, I think really saying also, again, not to take things at that surface value. Like, don't freeze yourself out. Don't feel like you have to close off, but really see what this is all doing to be the bigger play. Imagining yourself kind of watching as if everything is in a theater and how it's all coming together. So you don't have to participate in any part of it that you don't want to. You just kind of take a step back and see what that message really is underlying. Next we have pettigrain. That's main message is independence. So the trigger statement might say, I am just like my mother or father. True statement, I am free to choose. You are ready to break free of the conditioning that has bound you so that you may continue your journey of healing and growth. Yeah, so really a lot of family lineage kind of things going on right now. So if that's not something that's fully in your awareness, or you're just wondering like, where are these certain triggers coming from? This could be the time to really reflect on those familial ties, and what is asking you to, what is being asked to heal right now. Because you could be totally living your life by these structures that were given to you as a child without being fully aware of it. And this has to do with our third chakra as well, our solar plexus. So this is our willpower as well. So you're getting to choose, this new path for yourself. And that could be part of the grief too, is maybe you're feeling sort of on this lone journey right now, or you're afraid of making that decision for yourself, because it feels like you are really leaving something behind that you once knew. Especially when we identify with these constructs that we've built up ourselves over so many years, as we start to, again, step over that threshold into something new, it can feel really scary. So again, taking it as it comes and allowing yourself that space to heal, and that it doesn't have to make sense right now, but you have that freedom of choice for yourself. Okay, and then the last one we have is another blend, a digestive blend, representing processing, because our digestive system, when we tend to have digestive issues or different illnesses related to digestion, it does have to do with our metabolic processing, as well as just kind of our inner fire. So when that starts to manifest, that shows we kind of have a stress going on, whether it's with our willpower or how we exert ourselves. So the trigger statement is, I am so worried. And the true statement is, I have the solution. Slowing down and listening to your inner voice will provide you with direction and purpose. So allowing yourself time to come out of these feelings with a little more clarity and be able to have a little bit more steadiness moving forward. Give yourself that space to nurture and be well, and not really making any sort of rash decisions. And knowing that you have this solution, you are able to process this information, and that you will have the wisdom to know and choose for yourself. I'm sorry for the ring shine a little bit there. And this might also be the first time for some of you that you're starting to really connect more with that inner voice, that part that maybe you've been ignoring or pushing down for so long. And that could be a part of this grief as well, as this sadness of, wow, I've really been neglecting this part of myself, and I haven't really been living maybe to my fullest potential. And again, this has to do with our solar plexus, our willpower. So if you haven't worked with chakras before, look into the solar plexus or the yellow chakra. It's also our fire chakra, right here, just kind of below our ribs, all to do with digestion. And it's a really powerful place to start, especially if you feel like you need that extra boost in your willpower, in your own projective fire. Okay. All right, so let's get into the astrology a little bit and see if we have anything else going on there. So I didn't do a video on entering our new lunar cycle. So we are in a new moon cycle that started, I believe, last week. Yeah, last Wednesday. So we're now in a new lunar cycle of Libra, which represents a new romantic cycle begins. Now, Libra has to do with relationships, but it has to do with all relationships. It has to do with us and the other. It's the first kind of dual where we're looking outside of ourselves sort of sign. So this could be maybe those triggering relationships, whether romantic or familial, or just even with yourself. You're having this new romantic cycle that is being invited in. And we are also in the sign of Libra currently. So wherever this new moon is falling in your chart, your kind of partnerships and your relationships are really being highlighted over this next period. So the new moon happened in 13 degrees of Libra, which represents the 3 of Swords. So yeah, there is this amazing opportunity for healing these old wounds, these old heartbreaks. Whether they're in your awareness or not, some of you maybe don't really know any initial heartbreaks that really come to mind, but as children, we tend to hold on to these really interesting things in our subconscious as wounds that we don't always acknowledge. So if you are just kind of looking at it like, I haven't really had it that bad, I don't know what kind of heartbreak that would be. It doesn't have to necessarily stick out through a romantic relationship. This can just have to do with those wounds that we've collected over our lives, betrayals from friends, betrayals from our family members, maybe even coworkers, people that we worked with. And they've just kind of shaped us into who we are. And it's again that not letting ourselves become these just hardened, like icy individuals, but allowing ourselves to feel that pain, feel that suffering, whatever it is. Nobody's suffering is more or less than anyone's. Our level of suffering is, our experience. It's nobody else's. So this is an opportunity for this cycle to really heal those aspects of ourselves. And especially because on that same day, we had Pluto, which is the sign of transmutation, rebirth, death, all of those sorts of energies going direct in Capricorn. So this is the first to start going direct with all of these planets that have been in retrograde, and they'll slowly start to pick up one by one. So now we're starting to kind of see this picture come together. And so again, if it's all not making sense, I get a feeling like once we kind of get out of this retrograde energy, especially Mercury going direct, it's going to start to make more sense of why this is all happening. So with Pluto going direct in Capricorn, this is also going direct in those last decans of Capricorn, which represents the Four of Coins. So this is our how we do kind of set up in our material world, how we kind of link everything together and support ourselves, how we make sure that we're taken care of. But this can also be very self-protective and can also be very clinging. So over this last little bit, we've kind of been reviewing, okay, what's really important to me? What am I maybe clinging too much to? And, especially with Pluto kind of being the death card, there could have been maybe this point of, all right, we might be losing something. We might be getting something taken away. It might be time to really release this. And that could be what that loss is finally starting to feel like this week. And Capricorn having to do with, this is kind of our family a little bit in the sense of like maybe a father figure, but more so Capricorn has to do with our foundations and our career as well. So Capricorn does care about the family, but it also cares about the whole big picture of everything being set up in this very structured way. So it is all of the material things coming together. So yeah, it really makes sense with both of those energies kind of going forward. Looking a little bit more deeply into those older wounds and getting a little more clear about what's ready to be released, where can you kind of ease up your hold a little bit, and just maybe allow yourself that freedom to move forward. Okay, so moving into this week though, we do have our Saturn, which is our ruling planet of Capricorn, of karma, of the work that we came here to do, is going direct in Aquarius, which is the sign of the humanitarian. And we've been working with Saturn in Aquarius over this last couple years, since 2020. So we're in this big shift collectively of the Saturn in Aquarius sort of theme. So now it's like our karma towards humanity. What is that really getting pulled into the picture with? And it moving in the first decade of Aquarius, these cards are kind of slick. Moving into this first decade of Aquarius going forward, representing the Five of Swords. So this is, everyone's kind of coming in with all their opinions, all their thoughts, and nobody's really willing to back down or let up. And it's just causing more distress for everyone involved, which we've maybe, really seen come to the forefront over the last few months, is just all these deferring and hurtful words and thoughts that are coming to mind. So now that we're kind of moving forward with this energy and we're moving through this new cycle, maybe we've actually had some time to really reflect on, and why am I defending this so vehemently? And is this really something that's worth causing myself so much stress and hurt, but maybe also causing those around me so much stress and hurt? This isn't necessarily saying like give up your values, because Saturn is about your values as well. But we're starting to question more about how our values are benefiting the whole of humanity, not just us anymore, but our society, our community. And is that really going to, if we're really just defending this and being this kind of stick in the mud and shutting ourselves out, are we really actually benefiting anyone here? Or is it just kind of better for us to be like, cut these ties and move forward in a new direction? So I see this, especially Saturn going direct, and this question of, the mother-father figure, that Aquarian energy can sometimes feel kind of cold and distant. So there could be a question for some of you of that, again, that energy of that sort of defending, like you've been maybe trying to prove yourself to them, or there's been someone in your life that you have been trying to stand up to and have been trying to do this push-pull, and this loss, this kind of grief, 5 of emotions energy could finally be that just I give up. Like this has been so draining on my energy, and I'm starting to feel it affect me personally. And this doesn't necessarily mean either that you are losing the battle, but you're just choosing peace over anything else. You are choosing to kind of extend the olive branch. And if people take it or not, that's not really up to you, but your own peace, your own path is what's really going to, be your own discernment. And that time to, again, turn inwards and take some time for processing as well. That could be maybe a sign that is popping up for you this week. If any of you have been having digestive issues or seem to have things like irritable bowel syndrome, which really actually happens when you yourself have this kind of irritability sort of energy. But anything, if you feel like your emotions start to affect your digestion, this could really be a sign of like, okay, something bigger is going on here. Why is this causing me stress? So paying attention to those issues this week. And then we'll begin to have some more direct moving energy moving into next week as well with the full moon. All right. Okay. So overall, the energy I'm just feeling from this week is, take it all in, but just don't take it for face value. Even if people are maybe being hurtful or triggering, there is a bigger picture going on. And you can trust in the answers that are going to come. They just may not all be here right now. So trust in your own wisdom, trust in your body, really listening to it, accepting everything as it is, and just allow it to kind of unravel itself. You don't need to make any sort of big decision right this moment, but take that time to really be with yourself and confront yourself a little bit more. All right. Okay, well, that is everything that I think I have for you this week. If you are curious at all, I have written a new blog for this week about tips moving into the fall season. So if you've been feeling a little bit off lately and you just want some nice holistic health tips of how to keep yourself in balance going forward, feel free to click that link below. And also just from my affiliates at Banyan Botanicals, they are offering just a free look at their 3-day fall cleanse. So again, if you've been having those sort of digestive issues and you need a chance to kind of reset and reboot, this is just a 3-day cleanse. And it's super gentle. It's not any sort of intensive that you have to change everything around so drastically. It's mostly just a very mono-based diet, but it is a Ayurvedic practice. So I will include that link below, and you can take that little tip there and enjoy that 3-day reset and just kind of bring yourself back to a little equilibrium. All right, so again, thank you so much for joining me. If you liked the video or really resonated, please comment or subscribe, share your story. I love to know your experience. And thank you for staying for these longer videos whenever I'm gone, seem to go for a bigger time. So again, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Have a great week. Bye.